Hello everyone, my name is Taiva. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Before we get started, I want to introduce myself. I've never formally got on YouTube and talked about my business, what I intend to do on this channel, so I'm going to take a little time to do that before we get started in today's topic. We'll learn a lot. Again, my name is Taiva. I am 23 years old from Cleveland, Ohio. I am a skincare business owner and I formulate all of my skincare from scratch. I've been formulating for a little over 3.5 years now. And if I showed you guys where I started versus where I'm at now, you'll see a complete 180 with my skincare and just the message I intend to send to the public with my company. My whole point on this channel is to show you guys the connection between science and skincare, and science plays one of the most important roles in developing skincare and how it actually is one of the largest components of building a effective skincare brand. So now that we've got all that out the way, today we're going to be talking about body butters. Okay, so on YouTube and in general, I'm seeing a lot of body butters, recipes that typically are all oil based with just shea butter, cocoa butter, and some type of oil. Nothing wrong with that. However, if you are someone who is looking to create a body butter but with water, so like an emulsion, so basically, we're talking about the difference between body butters that we know of today and emulsified body butters, which basically means water and oil combined together to create a thick formula with waxes and alcohols, and we'll get all into that. Like I said, you have your typical body butter, which I don't have one because I don't typically use those, but let's just pretend we have a body butter right here. It would just contain a blend of oils, jojoba, sweet almond, rice bran oil, grapeseed oil, and butters, cocoon butter, shea butter, cocoa butter, you name it. And they will melt these down, and then as it begins to harden, you will pop it in the freezer. You will whip it up into a very whipped consistency, and then the butter will set, and it will be a little hard, but it will melt into your skin, and it will be really nice. The only problem with those that I find is they just tend to be really oily, so they transfer onto my clothes, and I just don't like products that sit on top of my skin unless I'm using it last. So I typically use lotions, body creams, and things of that nature, which actually tend to, penetrate my skin and hydrate it at the same time. So for me, I look into whether a product can hydrate and moisturize at the same time, and this is something I typically enjoy the most. So I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make a very basic emulsified body butter. I don't want to talk too long, but basically you're going to start off with water. You're going to add your water-based content, and then you're going to have an oil phase, which will consist of a basic wax, a alcohol, which helps with stabilization, emulsification, and just overall helps the overall stability of an emulsion. And and then we'll go into our last phase, and then that will be the cool down phase. So that will consist of any extracts, maybe niacinamide, and the most important thing, preservatives, because we don't want mold or icky stuff growing in our products, and we don't want to put any of that nasty stuff on our skin. So in the next clip, I will be providing you guys with a very basic formula in percentages that will help you create a very basic body cream. And again, this is something you may be able to alter on your own if you are familiar with formulating, but my whole point is to show you guys just the benefits of using a emulsified body butter and how much it differs from a typical body butter and how it will actually end up changing your body care routine. So yeah, let's get to it. So here I'm going to write out the basic body butter formula, and this is going to be broken up into 3 categories: phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. Phase 1 is the water phase, phase 2 is the oil phase, and phase 3 is the cool down phase. And here we're going to do 10% alcohol, 47.5% water, and 5% glycerin. I'm going to do 10% of a nut oil. You can choose any type. Today I used avocado, and we did 15% shea butter, 5% emulsifying wax NF, and we did 4% cetyl alcohol. In our cool down phase, we're just going to do 1.5% Optifen Plus, and lastly 2% oil, and I went ahead and wrote it out and put this on the screen for you guys. And right now I'm just going to convert everything to grams. I'm making a 8-ounce batch, which is 228 grams, and I go ahead and just do the math. This helps me get the most accurate measurements. This is honestly just the best way to formulate. You get the same amount per batch every single time. And we're just going to go ahead and get started. I'm just sanitizing my beakers. They're already clean, but I just go ahead and wipe them all down with alcohol. So everything that I use gets wiped down and sanitized with rubbing alcohol before I get started. Please don't mind this beaker. It literally chipped on me, so I had to protect it with the electrical tape, which helps it remain whole. And again, we're just going to go throughout this entire phase and just measure everything out on a scale. Having a very accurate scale is very, very important. There's honestly no way to do this without a scale. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and measure out my glycerin, which is my humectant in this product. Glycerin is like the #1 humectant. It really does help the skin retain its moisture. And then I'm going to go ahead and measure out my oil phase. So I'm going to be using avocado oil, and I'm just going to measure that out. And once I get the right amount, I'm going to go ahead and set the scale to 0 and add in my shea butter. This is going to make it really thick and creamy, along with the cetyl alcohol and the emulsifying wax, which is going to help bind the water phase and the oil phase together and make it a really nice creamy texture. Once I'm done measuring out my emulsifying wax, I'm going to go ahead and cover these up and put them in a water bath, which will be heated up to about 175 degrees Fahrenheit, and this will be held for about 20 minutes or so. I'm going to measure my cooldown ingredients, which will just vibe on the side until both of my phases are completely heated up. And that is just a mixture of my preservatives, and then I have my fragrance oil as well. I'm using an 8-ounce jar today, and I'm going to go ahead and make a label for it. Just, really basic. This isn't the label I would use if I were to sell this on my website, but it just, it serves its purpose. Once both of my phases are done, I'm going to go ahead and immediately combine them and blast with the emulsion blender. You need to have an emulsion blender to make this. Cannot use like a hand mixer or anything. This will be the only thing that will ensure that the emulsion is done properly. And I low-key blast this every 10 minutes or so just to make sure that the formula doesn't break. Once it's below 140 degrees Fahrenheit, I go ahead and add in my cooldown ingredients. Just continue mixing this over a course of 30 minutes to an hour, just to ensure that it's not broken and everything is combined properly. And once this is completely cooled down, I'm going to add it to my 8-ounce jar. You can see it's starting to get thicker and thicker as it cools down, and I keep mixing it, and eventually it's going to get super fluffy. This is like mid-stage before it's actually really thick, and this is the final stage. It's going to actually be a little thicker tomorrow, but regardless, it's going to feel really, really good on the skin, and it's going to smell amazing too, which is the good part. Typical shea butter body butters tend to lag a little bit because the shea butter really does cover up a lot of the fragrance, but in this formula you'll be able to get a very lovely smelling body butter. Hydrates and moisturizes the skin while also giving you a really good fragrance, and it feels so good. It smells so yummy. Make sure you use the right fragrance oil. Get mine from Wholesale Supplies Plus. A wide range of fragrance oils. This is the full finished product. This body butter is amazing. So much for watching.